everyone, this is Direwolf20, and welcome to episode 7 of Direwolf20's Let's Play series. Well, looks like it's already dark out. I've been in my base doing some preparatory crafting in anticipation of this episode, and it looks like it already made it to nighttime as I was getting ready to start recording, but that's okay. Between episodes, I just crafted a few things, nothing too fancy, but I was able to make all the things I need to get 9 sets of mechanical crafters, which will lead to 27 mechanical crafters. And you might be saying to yourself, hey, that's more than you need, buy 2. But since they are crafted 3 at a time, I want to make the crushing wheel, which is basically a 5x5 craft, but you don't need the 4 corners. So technically you need 21 of these. So, I mean, like, I could have just, but I wanted to make an even 5x5 wall of these things. So that was kind of the reason I decided to do this. And then, it just turned into, that's how it turned out. So whatever, it's all good. So I'm thinking, how do we want to set this bad boy up? That is a significantly good question. I'm assuming, actually, pretty seriously so, that I'm going to need either more water wheels, or I'm going to need to get the windmill up and running before I'm going to have enough, ability to use the mechanical crafter, right? Now, I don't know if there's a numerical value for this dude. It says kinetic stress impact is low, so that's kind of good news. We'll have to see, what happens with him. So I'm thinking what I'm going to do is start off by just breaking all this stuff real quick, which is fine. Right, everything goes back into the chest here, and I think as soon as we get the ore doubling crusher working, the very next step will absolutely be the windmill and building a building around this so that we have a create-based building. We'll figure it out. Deal. All right, so the mechanical crafters. Let's get them ready to roll. So automated assembly. And you're gonna go something like this. Now these guys actually, there is kind of a facing to them, which I'll talk about in a minute. And this is probably just a temporary location for these guys to live. But the gist is there's an arrow kind of coming out of these guys, and what you want to do is rotate them such that the arrow is kind of all the arrows are going towards one spot, right? So for example, this corner here, right? Item goes up, and then heads over to the left, right? And these guys will go down and over to the left. So basically, all the items that are placed on this gear, this big wall of crafters, are going to make their way to this spot. And then from there, we're going to go ahead and have them go into a chest. So I'm going to real quick make one of those bad boys. And that should be all there is to it. Should be pretty straightforward. Cool. Now you're going to need some gearage. And I'm pretty sure that you need something like that to happen. Okay. So that should be cool. Will you do that? And then a vertical gear shift, maybe? And then the question becomes, is this going to be... Oh, you don't do that? You don't work that way? I was hoping you would work that way. Large ones work that way. I guess small ones do not. Do not. So I didn't super plan this out ahead super well, but it's fine. It's all good. Maybe we can... I'm sure I can come up with something here to gearbox this correctly. Right. We'll probably want... Let's see. That is a good question. Maybe I placed these in a bad spot. But since this is only temporary anyway, I'm not going to super worry about it. I'm just going to get her up and running, and then we'll fix it later kind of deal. Because, again, kind of a temporary setup until I build the proper building and all that stuff, which I'll do after I've made my crushing wheel. So, a little nonsense, but it works, except that it's overstressed. So, each of these is 32 stress units. And this guy over here was 256, right? So 32 times 5. So it's 800 stress units that we're going to need to make this thing behave itself a little bit. So I want to do a windmill. I very much want to do a windmill because that's going to do a lot of stress units. But I really wanted to get this thing up and running quicker. But I mean, crushing wheels are going to be high stress too. So that's going to be, I didn't think it would be that high. So water wheels is probably not going to be sufficient. We're going to need a lot more water wheels if we're going to want to do that. So what are the other options for create? So reminder though, you can slow things down. So if you have a small wheel connected to a larger wheel, it slows down the operation and therefore reduces the stress impact. Now this is doing 16 stress units. Okay. So you know what, actually, this 256 is per water wheel. So actually, we do have enough stress units. We're actually not far from being able to do it at full speed, but doing it at half speed, we have more than enough, right? Because 16 times 25 was like 800 and something. So that actually works out pretty well. So let's go with that. Cool. So I should be able to make my crushing wheels now. So the crushing wheels, it's 2 per craft, right? But we're going to need what looks like some... Is that just smooth stone? Is that what it is? Not smooth stone, but, you know, like stone. Thanks, Minecraft, for making that easy and not at all confusing. But we're going to need a lot of andesite alloys. We're going to need some healthy amount of wood. Let's go ahead and craft 1. Now, you know what? Actually, yeah, no, we just need... Right, we just need the 2 crushing wheels. My bad. Where's my brain? We definitely just need the 2 crushing wheels. So it's 2 per. So that's not a big deal. So we just need a bunch more andesite alloy. So... You think that'll be enough for now? Maybe? I'm gonna make a bunch more. That should be good. Definitely. Alright, cool. Andesite away. And let's go do the thing. And I feel like it was stone. Why are you all of a sudden invisible in case stone bricks? That's concerning. It's a little concerning. It might have been smooth stone that goes in the middle there. I don't know if andesite would work, but we'll just put stone in there. That should be cool. What's up, random fly? Okay. Let's actually sleep through this night so we don't have any monster problems. So the pattern is we put smooth stone in the middle, right? And then around that will be any planks. Okay, and then around that, except in the corners, we'll go the andesite alloys. Does that look cool? Okay, now memory serves correctly, I give this guy a redstone signal, and he's good to go. Hooray, it's working. Check it out. So the items all move together based on the facing direction that the crafters are set up to, right? So you can see them moving from right to left now. Cool. And everything will come together at that end point. Then it should do the craft and insert it into the chest. Cool beans? Not too shabby. Okay, so that kind of goes into there now. And look at that awesome crafting mechanic. Whoosh. Awesome. Very, very cool. And then there's your crafted component. And it lands in the chest. So there's our 2 crushing wheels. Nice. And then I'm just going to break everything here because, again, that was a temporary location for those to live in. That is not where they're going to live going forward. Okay, and then the same for this. We're going to build a whole structure around which to make this cool, but, you know, eventually. Now let's see if I can get my crushing wheels to behave, right? Now the crushing wheels, very specifically, they need to go into each other. So they have to be turning into each other. So we need to set up a system by which they'll, you know, rotate into each other, kind of, okay? And then we can put ores into them, and they will crush. Cool? Seems pretty straightforward. And I'm thinking, do I want to do the whole windmill thing now prior to setting this up? Because I feel like I probably should. Because I'm going to, as soon as I get these these crushing wheels up and running, I'm gonna want to do like the water cleaning and like the whole ore processing process. And the crushing wheels alone need a lot of rotational energy to make this thing work. So I think we're gonna probably want to do that. So let's get the windmill up and running right away. Yeah, I like that plan. So rotational force with windmills is pretty straightforward. You put some items on them, and you have to attach sail blocks to them, and then activate it, and it'll start spinning and generate rotational force. The amount of sail blocks determine the rotational speed. Cool. Okay, easy peasy. Oh, that's neat. I didn't even know that. That is news to me. But yeah, it's pretty straightforward. We just make the windmill bearing and then start attaching, you know, sail-like blocks. Now I feel like... Do you have to create the sails? I don't know that you do. I don't know that you have to. Let's ponder the white sail. Well, that's cool. Look at that. I didn't even know you could have them be vertical. That's kind of cool. No need for super glue, so that's good news. And you can dye them, which is neat. All right, so let's get to work on this thing, right? So step 1, windmill bearing. We're going to need a turntable, which looks like any slab of wood will do. This looks like really cheap to make, too. And also, I think this is the quest progression for the pack. So let's be ready to do that. So you're there, then you can go. Are you any kind of stone or something like that? Would andesite work? That would be cool if it did. Yeah, it does. Nice. Windmill bearing. Task complete. Task complete. So I should be able to check out the book here. And in create now. Alright, so then you want a radial chassis and 32 white sails. Okay. Ooh, and that'll get me an epic create loot box. Alright, neat. Alright, so let's get... Alright, so I made my windmill bearing, which unlocked a bunch of quests, which I just off-camera handed in all the rewards for. So a lot of things I got were rare create loot boxes and different kinds of loot boxes. What they do is they just give you random items from create, which is neat, right? So I'm going to put a lot of those items in this inventory here, because that's where all my create stuff is going. So a bunch of random create stuff is what I just got, basically. So before I set up my windmill, one thing I'd like to make is a speedometer and turn that into a stressometer. And the reason I want the stressometer is I can use it to measure how much stress units are being produced by my windmill or whirlmill. So you can see here, we've got 768 stress units here. And if I attach stuff to it, it'll tell me how much are remaining based on the usage. But this way I can know when I've built my windmill to the maximum, you know, available size, which should be pretty cool to know. So what I'm thinking is I build upwards a little bit. I'm not going to go too crazy tall, but upwards a little bit here. And then from here, I'm going to set up a vertical gearbox. Okay. Is that about cool? I like that. Now, the problem is, of course, that I am 100% not having flight, but that's all right. We'll deal with that problem in a bit. And then from here, I'm going to throw down my stressometer. Okay, no stress information, right? That makes sense. And then we're going to want our windmill bearing. That should be cool. And I guess from there, we should be able to place any block in front of it. And then put sails on it. That's not the way I want it to look. I should be able to, with cork, do something like that. That looks good to me, right? Yeah, cork. Yeah, buddy, cork, saving the day. Like like this, maybe? Yeah, buddy. So I'm going to do 4 in each direction, okay? That's cool. And then we'll expand it further as needed, okay? But we're going to start with 4. I don't remember exactly. I know I've done it before. I don't remember the exact number of blocks that we're going to want here, but you get the idea, right? Now, am I going to be able to quirk you? Quirk doesn't seem to want to let me do that, so that's okay. We can do some finagling. Cool. Now, if I were to go back here, why didn't I get a magnet before I did this? And right-click this dude. Nice. Cool. Now remember, they turn into entities, and yes, they can pass through blocks, but, you know, you should avoid doing that. So 1024 stress units at its current speed. Awesome. So that's what it's producing. So if we check this guy out, we'll see 1024 is the current. Cool. So the max stress units that a windmill can create is 8,192, I think. So I'm going to right-click this dude again. And we're going to expand, actually, a little bit differently. Because I'm pretty sure that if I put on either side of these, and then whack this dude, 1536. Boom. That's what's up. Now, there we go. And that's 2048. Okay. Okay. So we're going to want 4 times as many, right? I believe that to be true. Yeah. 4 times as many windmill pieces as I originally brought up here. So that means we're going to want a stack and a half more white sails. Cool? Works for me. So I'm going to make that look nicer. So we're going to want a stack and a half more white sails. So we're going to want a healthy bit more sticks. Right? And a healthy bit more of you. So that would be that many. And then we're going to want a bit more. So I'll come back in a minute. I might need to go snag some more wool. I think have enough wool. I do. Sweet. So that's a stack and a half. Perfect. I had 1 more wool than I needed. Beautiful. All right. So now let's expand this, right? In a way that's going to look neat. Hopefully. Hopefully. So I need to pillar up there. And basically, that should be good, right? And that'll be, right, 2560. Perfect. All right, now let's go out. Let me just math this real quick, right? Let's go 4 more out. Actually, probably more than 4, right? But we'll figure it out. I should probably sleep through this night. Because before I know it, there's going to be a creeper on this platform with me. And that would be bad news. Okay. Ah, not there. No. Thank you. At least they make it relatively easy to place these, right? Two, three, four. Cool. A little bit of fall damage never hurt nobody. Wait, that's not true at all. Cool. All right, so that should be close, but we actually have a significant more to do. Got 36 more to place. So that would be 3 more on each side. Yeah, that's pretty significant. That is pretty significant, actually. But we'll figure it out. So we should be getting close. I just want to check the stress units that we're getting from this. 5632. Cool. So this should be 3 more on each side now, right? And I think that's good. All right, so if I'm not mistaken, that should be 8192 now. Woot! 8192, a strong breeze. Perfect. Math complete. Beautiful, beautiful. Small fall, vein mine, and everybody's a winner. How great is that? All right, so now we've got some significant stress unit measurements that we can do. Now what I'd like to do is actually use this stuff. And the basic plan, for now at least, right, I'm going to remove this stressometer real quick. And then I'm going to hook you up. And now I've got the stressometer for use down here. So that'll kind of be the front of my building-ish. Right? And then we'll let that windmill power some things behind it. So back here is where a majority of my stuff will be, right? Everything that we're going to want. Cool. I think that would be neat. So let's get our vertical gearbox, which we should have one somewhere. If we don't, I can make some more. I thought I would have a vertical gearbox. Didn't I have a vertical gearbox? Could have sworn I did. Did I use it up there? Oh yeah, I did. That's why. Okay, cool. So let's bring that over to here-ish. Cool. And then if we want, we can put our stressometer like right on this thing, and we can measure the amount of stress being placed on things in the network. Cool. Now, I think I might want to get rid of this water wheel because I shouldn't need him anymore. And as much as I hate, like, you know, removing things, I don't think we need him no more. Cool. So, hey, water wheel complete. Hooray. But also, much cleaner. Alright. So, quickie, hand in the quest for that. Scavenger's Delight, huh? Oh, I got some paper and some bricks. Exciting. Okay, so now we've got the windmill going. And boy, is he big. He is a big windmill. Forgot how big that structure is, but that's okay. And let's get ready to make our crushing wheel now. So I'm trying to visualize where I want things to be in this area, right? Because I honestly don't know. So if this was going to be the entrance to my building right here, right, and I'm just thinking ahead, having these right here probably is not the smartest idea. So I'm going to actually move all of this to be a little further back, maybe like back to here-ish. So I'm going to move that real quick off camera. And then what if we placed the vertical gearbox here? And then maybe, you know, maybe a little bit lower. Or, yeah, a little bit higher, actually. Vertical gearbox could be here. And then I wouldn't mind... What I'd really like is the stressometer. But I don't think... Well, oh, actually, yeah, no, it can totally do that. Okay, cool. Well, maybe then I'll put the stressometer on top. I didn't realize the stressometer could go up and down like that, but that's awesome. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to face it this way, towards the front, quote-unquote, of the building, right? And then we can have our vertical gearbox. And then from there, we can kind of do whatever we want. Yeah? And if I wanted other directions, we could do something like this, right? And that would be kind of cool. I like that. Yeah, I like that a lot. You can see how many times I'm sleeping here is indicating how much I'm thinking about trying to make this look good. Because, you know, Dyer ain't good at that, and he's trying. All right, just quickly filling in this area here. Hello, fish. Hello, fish. Just so I have a nice, you know, kind of area to work with. And that works pretty well, actually. Not too shabby. Nice. And I'm going to avoid some of this stuff that I don't think I need. Yeah, I definitely don't think I need any of this. There you go. The one thing I kind of like and I kind of don't like about the trash can is the fact that it like doesn't actually delete the item until you put another item in there. I always feel like the obligation to like click it again so that it actually properly clears away, but whatever. So maybe over here is where we'll do our ore processing. So let's start with what the ore processing is going to look like, right? So if we were to take zinc, for example, zinc ingots, I think the bestest way is to do this process, right? So we should do the packaging with the press and the basin, right? Because you get zinc, because we could just smelt crushed zinc ore and zinc dust, but that's not what we want to do, actually. What we want to do is get the zinc nuggets from washing crushed zinc ore. Because you'll note, remember, it's 9 nuggets per ingot, right? So if we were just to smelt crushed zinc ore, we would get 1 zinc ingot or 9 nuggets, right? So if we were to do that, that's the way we would do it. But if we did it with washing, we would definitely get 10, which is just a little bit more. And then we have a 50% chance of getting 5 more. So, you know, like on average, we're going to get like 12 to 13 of these, which sounds pretty good, right? So that's like extra cleaning, right? And then the crushed zinc ore comes from the crushing process like this, right? So we just get our zinc ore or our zinc chunks and throw them in the crushing wheel and we'll get that stuff. Cool? So that's the process that we're going to go through. So it's going to be crushing the zinc ore first, right? And then we're going to wash it with the fan behind blowing water. And then we're going to stamp it with these things, right? So that's kind of the order of operations that we want to set up. So let's do a quickie setup for this, right? So, and I'm just kind of winging this a little bit, but we'll have like a gearbox here. And then I'm going to have this dude gearbox. Okay, and then we're going to have the crushing wheel. We're going to need, you know, a decent amount of these things, gearboxes and whatnot. Now, where did I put my crushing wheel? Did I leave it in here? I totally did. So I want spinning that direction, right? And then we're going to want a gearbox here. Is that right? Maybe not. And then you like this. Yeah, okay, but they're too far apart, so I was right the first time. Right? So like that, that, and that. Cool. I think that's accurate. I think that looks good, right? And we can validate that with some ore chunks, which we'll get in a minute. Yeah, let's go grab one now, just to, because we want to test this a little bit. I'm gonna get some iron, because I've been saving a lot of the ore that I mined a few episodes back in order to test this with, right? So let's go grab from in here. Do we have any iron ore? We do. We have iron chunks. Cool. Perfect. So I'm gonna be testing the basic mechanics of this, and then what we're probably gonna have to do is wrap up the episode in a minute here, because we're pretty much at that wrapping up point. But my plan is to come back next episode and fully automate all the things. But if we were to drop you in there, he should start chewing it up. Perfect. And we got, wow, look at that. 2 iron and a nickel. Awesome. Awesome. So that is definitely working. Cool. So I'm just organizing my inventory a little bit here, but I think that is probably a good wrapping up point for this here episode. So let's wrap up here. We'll come back next episode, and we'll start the whole process of how this is going to work. Basically, I'm going to want to automate, we'll look at this here. We'll do something along these lines, where we automate it like this, is the gist of what I'm going to do. Right? You can just drop items in there and they'll drop. But for full-blown automation, we're going to want something like this, right? So that we're going to have belts feeding the items in, they're going to get crushed, and then we're going to have belts feeding the items out. And that's what I want to build next episode. But for now, it's wrapping up point. So Darryl20 signing off. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We'll come back next time, set up a whole ore processing mechanic with Create. All right, Darryl20 signing off. Take it easy.